What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Web3 DJs. I'm your host, Sticky Finger Jones. I've got my co-host here, Hofstra. We are thrilled to have you guys back for another weekly remix. Before we get started, we do want to call out that we were originally going to have our good friend Toby Lasso on the show today. Unfortunately, he ran into some opportunities, had a family emergency. So we just want to say we hope all is well there, Toby. We look forward to rescheduling with you. That being said, the show must go on. And so here we are. We're flexible. We can make it happen. And that's what we're going to do today. So we're going to start off by talking to you guys about all the upcoming news, some really cool merch that just dropped. You guys are always in the comments and talking to us about the merch that you see us rocking on the show and how you can get some. And so we're going to fill you in on that today. In addition to that, we're going to highlight the top thing that has probably happened in the NFT space ever. And Hofstra's going to give you a deep dive into the other side, the Bored Ape Yacht Club land sale. Twitter's buzzing about it. And so he's going to tell you our perspective, what we think about that sort of thing, and how it plays maybe into your port. And then finally, it wouldn't be a weekly remix if we didn't tell you what we're minting this week and some of the top projects that we're watching. So we're going to get right into that. Hofstra has something pretty exciting that you guys are going to want to stay tuned for. So why don't you tell them about that?
Yeah, we're going to give away a Zed-Run Buterin Legendary Fire Opal Philly Z19. So if any of you guys know about Zed-Run, this one actually did pretty well. It's coming from my personal collection, and lots of fun. If you want to go race a horse, get in with no money, this is the way to do it. So definitely get in on the giveaway, and we'll tell you how to do that at the end of the show.
Yeah, absolutely. So make sure you stay tuned so that you can qualify for that giveaway. Zed-Run is a really awesome project, and if you're a degenerate like me, then it's a natural fit. So definitely thank you to Hofstra for a piece from his personal collection. This is Hofstra Bread Zed. But yeah, get right into it. So you see my man Hofstra, he's rocking the NBA jersey. It's NBA playoff time. And so we just wanted to call out a couple big things that are happening. Gutter Cat doing it again. You see they've got another player rocking their shoes on the court. This time it was Malik Beasley rocking these Gutter Cat on the LeBron 19s. But this is not new for the project. Here we have LaMelo Ball doing the same thing for, I think it was their play-in game. Gutter Mello rocking it here. And they've even expanded, I know, we said NBA playoff time, but they've even expanded to the gridiron. And we've got our man AJ the Sauce Dylan rocking the Gutter Cat shoes as well. So needless to say, Gutter Cat is definitely making their way in the sports world. And actually, if you check out this guy's Twitter banner here, you can see that he's definitely all about the gang. So it's really awesome to see like the Gutter Cat bringing this to life and something that's so personal to me. But it does not stop there. So the Gutter Cat gang actually just did a pop-up in Chicago. You can see here with Juggernaut. And they released this merch online to Gutter Cat holders today. So if you're a Gutter Cat holder, you can get online. You get a one-time passcode. I already used mine, bought my merchandise, and you can get some really cool stuff. They've got this top that you see with the matching sweatpants. The kind of jaguar over there is almost like an homage to the old school tattooing. And if we check out their Twitter, they've got a little bit of a better view of some of the items that you can buy there. And so, again, one of the largest things that I like about the space is being able to rock it in real life. And Gutter Cat Gang is once again giving us the opportunity to do that. And so you can check it out. It is really cool. I think the largest hit for me was these guys right here. The plush is too cool to pass up. And so definitely want to make sure that you take advantage of that if you're a Gutter Cat holder. Not, and you want to start rocking this stuff in real life, might be time to go ahead and get you an OG. But the buck does not stop there. So we promised we're going to give you two. As you can see here, Alien Friends has actually went ahead and launched a collection as well today. And so the first thing that they launched was a collab piece with the 3-landers. If I get my mouse here, you can see they've got this sweet little guy. It says best friends for life. At a really affordable price point. That's kind of here. And the quality of their merchandise that I got last time, I have a different friends hoodie. It was really nice. And so there's another opportunity for you to buy in here. And they've got 3 different options. If you're a 3-lander friend or an alien friend, you have access to this collection. They have a friends only collection, which the theme of the plushes, you can go ahead and grab one of these, one for each faction. They've got Xenos, Femi, Olu, and Lokia. I like that Lokia is at the end because I'm. And then they've got some really cool stuff. GM, that's huge in the space. If you're one of these, not necessarily my style, but I like it.
I like that D-Gen.
Yeah, the D-Gen hoodie. That was something that my fiance was suggesting that I get. And then they also have thought about their consumer, and so they kind of bundled some kits together so that you can make a little bit of savings as well. One thing that I do want to call out that's really awesome about the Alien Friends is these 2 pieces down here. This Friends, F is for Friends t-shirt, and this Friends hoodie is given free to all OG holders. So I'll be getting these 2 for free. And then that, gives me the flexibility to maybe pick something up for my fiance as well. I like the pins, and if you know me, I'm a big sticker guy. I need something to. I don't know if you guys can see back there. Shout out to our guy Alan Reyes, the first guest we ever had on the show. He actually sent me this sick Crypto Cannibal skate deck, and so looks like I might need to pick up some of these stickers to put on it. Really cool. But you may be looking at me and saying, Isaiah, Sticky, you told us that we can rock this stuff, but I don't have the money to go out and buy an alien friend right now that's, 0.8, 0.9 ETH, whatever it is. Well, what they did is they also launched a public store. So if you're interested in this Degen hoodie, just like my host Hofstra here said, you can buy it without owning either of the collection. Anybody in the world can come on and buy these pieces. And so this is, again, a great example, at least in my opinion, of, okay, you're catering to your community, but how are you going to find incremental revenue streams? How are you going to be sustainable in the long run? And so it seems like what Alien Friends is attempting to do here is create that in real life brand presence by creating a public store that anyone can access. And again, you see that the price points are really affordable here. So yeah, if you're into merch, you want to rock it on the show just like Hofstra and myself do, now you've got 2 potential opportunities to buy it. So there you go. But let's get into the meat of the show. We know it's the number one thing being talked about on Twitter right now. The other side, everyone wants to get into the Bored Apes when they can, how they can. My man Hofstra actually went through the KYC process and got approved. And so why don't you go ahead and talk to us about, everything that was going on there?
Yeah, if you've been following anything, this is the most hyped project. There wasn't a lot of information on it until this past week. So everyone was speculating, were you going to be able to buy it with ETH? Was it going to have to be an Ape coin? Just talking strategy, all this stuff. So they finally released, and I'm just going to pull up. Can I share my screen here?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Hold on, wrong screen.
Oh, there's that beautiful
pony. That was
the
horse.
Yes. I think you'll need to reshare your screen. But while he's doing that, we definitely want to be clear here. This was something that I was thinking about for a long time. This other side has been hyped up for quite a while. And something that, I'll hand it back to you here, Hofstra, but I will say whenever I went onto the website and explored it, I think one of the first things that popped to me is this website development is better than any other project's website that I've been on. The stuff that they do, you scroll to navigate, and I know that sounds kind of weird, but generally you have to kind of click a button to enter or do something like that. It's all really well done, as you would expect. And so it's just, Yuga Labs seems to be a step ahead. It seems to be the upper echelon from any perspective that you want to look at it from. And so I just wanted to call that out there.
Except for minting.
And here we go.
You would think, right? This is a debate right now.
Yes.
You would think that with as much money as they have raised, with the development team that they have, with just everything that they've done, that they would have just figured this out. But they didn't. But and I'll get more into that. So right here, I just pulled up the frequently asked questions about what you had to do to get this. So basically, I had to fill out a credit application. Actually, it was probably more involved than a credit application because I had to take a picture of myself with my ID. I had to have 2 forms of pieces of. So I had like a electricity bill. I had my driver's license. And then I had to put my social security number. I had to put. I mean, it was like pretty involved, and a lot of people in the space just they don't want to do that. They're not willing to put their information out. It's kind of the whole thing with crypto is you don't have to do that. So this was a huge debate before, but if you were going to be able to mint this, it was a requirement. So
And just quickly, so you were filling out, I guess, or the process has been called KYC. I'm guessing that stands for Know Your Customer. Is that
yep,
correct? Do you have any?
yep.
Okay, nice. So they literally want your information to know who you are in order to hang out or to become part of the project, whatever you want to call it.
Right. And the reason this happened is you had a publicly traded company that purchased Bored Ape Yacht Club. And a lot of times when they're investors will get gun shy because of the regulatory aspect. It's kind of a gray area business. And so to legitimize it, they started requiring these sorts of things. And it's really a tax thing. So if you're going to buy it and sell it, if there's a transaction, they know who you are and you can be taxed on it is what I'm guessing.
Nice. Makes sense.
And so, yeah, you had a KYC, but if you look in here to be eligible, how does the mint work? So you had to have 305 ApeCoin. So yesterday, and if you just look at this, so ApeCoin shot all the way up to 24. It was at, what is this, 430? Yeah, it was as high as 23. And a little foreshadowing here, look where it's at today. And there's a reason why it just completely dumped.
And what was that price point that it's at today?
It's right now it's sitting at 17.
Wow.
So you had to swap. Now, if you swap 305 ApeCoin over here, right, you're not paying as much.
Right.
But it's almost down to where when it dropped. A little higher. It came out at, I think, 8. But you had, so it would have been $23 times 305. So you're talking roughly 2.5 ETH, 8,000 ish to buy this land.
Wow.
And so everybody was trying to figure this out all week on, what it's going to take to mint this. And not only that, a lot of people were shifting money around, selling stuff, really trying to get enough ApeCoin. But the problem was the gas war. It was absolutely insane. I think right now, if I can find this. So the other side, this is on Etherscan. Last 24 hours, $177 million spent on gas.
Oh my goodness.
This is just transaction fees. So imagine spending, you go in to buy something, a car for $8,000, but the transaction fee on your credit card is also another $9,000 to $10,000. That's what it was yesterday. So I was live on a Twitter space. There was about 3,000 people, and they had music going. It was awesome, and they were all trying to figure out how to get this. They kept increasing because on your MetaMask, when you do a transaction, you can increase the GUI price to get ahead. Mm-hmm. And so people started going, okay, one's not working. They would go, okay, I'm going to get it up to 2 ETH, 3 ETH. And then people were buying yesterday for 15 ETH transaction fees. So you spend 8,000 and then they were spending 15 Ethereum to mint.
That's just crazy.
Like stupid, ridiculous. And so I wanted to pull up here. This is today on Yuga Labs Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, the backlash from this was just insane. I mean, a lot of people weren't able to mint. So imagine the same thing. It's the same scenario, but your transaction doesn't go through and you lose your $9,000.
Goodness. I saw somebody tweet and it said, my brother's about to learn a tough lesson. And the text said, my transaction failed. When do I get my ETH back?
Yeah. Can I get a refund? Well, That's the thing. They're saying they're going to give refunds, but I'm just going to read this. We wanted to say a few words about the mint tonight. We're sorry for turning off the lights on Ethereum for a while. Literally shut everything down. If you try to mint anything else yesterday, or you try to buy anything on Opensea, you're spending $4,000.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second, because I saw you post. You said 0.45 for VFriends 2 seems nice. And I instantly said, oh, come on, this is the price point I've been looking for. I hopped on my phone as well. And I don't know why I thought you'd be lying. I checked the gas fee, and yeah, it was 2.5 ETH. I'm like, goodness gracious. So now I'm going to have to spend 3 ETH to buy one VFriends 2 that's priced at less than half an ETH.
So nobody sold anything.
Yeah, they shut down the whole
entire
network.
thing. All of Ethereum, like, unless you were trying to spend stupid money on gas, you couldn't buy anything. Literally shut my computer off, went to bed, woke up, and it's back to normal. But listen to this. We're sorry turning off the lights on Ethereum. It seems abundantly clear that ApeCoin will need to migrate to its own chain in order to properly scale. Debatable. We'd like to encourage the DAO to start thinking in this direction. We are aware that some users have failed transactions due to incredible demand being forced through Ethereum's bottleneck. For those of you affected, we appreciate your willingness to build alongside us. Now that we've got your back, and we will be refunding your gas. So let's okay, let's read the comments, because this is absolutely hilarious. I mean, they got blown up here. ApeCoin doesn't need its own chain. Do you guys have any idea what you're talking about? Ethereum clearly can handle this. You guys fumbled it. The blame 100%. I mean, if you go through like big names, Pranksy, or just do a draw and give people 24 hours to mint before you open. I mean, dude, all the big names are on here, and people are even posting their transaction. But like, they're getting blasted, like completely blasted.
That's great.
I mean, $100 million could have went to builders. You could have done a raffle. There's so many different ways you could have done what you could have done to avoid this. And in the last couple of weeks, there's been 3 different projects I can think of that have had just failed transaction, gas problems. You'd think that people would start understanding what works and what doesn't work, especially if you have the kind of eyes and the exposure that this project does. I don't know what's going to happen to the space, but this left a lot of bad taste in people's mouth.
Sure.
And like, I was ready to go. I was debating, okay, do I want to pull $9,000 out? Do I want to try to do this? My DFS mind starts thinking, right? Whenever you have chalk and everybody's on somebody, you fade them. Or one of the contrarian plays is you don't pick that. You go against the grain. And I just kind of felt that yesterday. I was like, man, something's weird here. So if you didn't have 2.5 ETH on top of the 305 Ape, you couldn't even play in this. And depending on when you got in, you may or may not have been able to mint. So some people got lucky, some people didn't. But I mean, this was crazy. I've never seen anything like it, and people are pissed, rightfully so. And I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm already expecting tons of conversation this week. Will this affect Bored Ape Yacht Club? Maybe, maybe not. This is right now the transaction, what they're going for right here. So you've got otherside deed, and it hasn't even revealed yet. So this is just like the deed on some of these.
So is this just like any other collection where this deed could have a really rare piece of land behind it, or it could just be like, okay, very nice.
And so what you're gonna get.
And so just real quick, it says like the floor price is 7.25 right now. I looked this morning or last night, and it was like 6.5. What was the mint price for these?
Well, the mint price was 305 Ape.
Oh, that's right, 305 Ape. So about 2.5.
About 2.5 ETH.
Okay, that's right. That makes sense.
But I mean, just do the math. So 2.5 ETH. If you spent 10,000 on, man, I'm trying to. I had some of these up here because there was people that were explaining exactly what I'm talking about on these comments, where they had. Well, and think about it like this: if you didn't mint, right? So you pulled all this money out, you bought Ape at 24, and now it's at 17. So you could have had like a triple whammy, right? You pull out the ape goes down, you fail a transaction. like you could have got burned super hard, and people did. And I don't know, even the people that got it, I think everybody's kind of like, are we at a point where the bubble right now is about to burst? Because like, in what sane person's mind are we spending $12,000 for a transaction fee to buy a freaking JPEG? You know, now this is land, but still, like, what world do we live in where that's acceptable? You don't go to the store and go, yeah, I'm going to buy this $80, hoodie and spend $6,000 for a transaction. But that's the kind of shit that's happening right now. And I don't know. I'm glad I didn't get in on this. I just, something about it. I was like, I don't know. Because I wouldn't have had the 2.5 ETH. I didn't think of that, how much it was going to be in gas. Yeah, and then you'd have been stuck having 305 ape that you bought at 23 if you got in yesterday. Now it's at 17.
Yep.
Luck.
Yep, that's definitely.
So, yeah, I don't know. I know that this is going to be a hot topic. I woke up this morning to a shitstorm on Twitter. A lot of the people that actually got this, I think everybody collectively was thinking this is absolutely crazy. So, and right now on Opensea, if you look at the top projects, there are some that are moving. So you've got like Doodles is ripping right now. It's over 20. Mutants are going down. It still really hasn't affected Bored Ape that much. I mean, these are going up. So despite all that, it's kind of like the rich kids club. If you're able to afford to get into it, cool. If not, then this was like the only other mint for Bored Ape Yacht Club that's happened in the last, year or so. I think the last one was it Mutants? I'm not in the project. I mean, I loosely follow it, but this was all the rage. And so, I don't know. Just seemed like for that money, people say, zag when they zig, and the play would have been buying other projects. Because yesterday, if you could have done it before, like I think VFriend Series 2 was at under 7. I think it was at 6.8 or 0.68. There was a lot of projects that were down if you would have just bought. They're up now because everybody has all this extra money that they were holding on to that they couldn't spend. So now all these other projects are doing well. So anyway, that's the news. That is, if you hop on Twitter right now or you follow anything in NFT, I'm sure this is going to be talked about for the next week, the next month. And hopefully people learn from it, because if you're new and you don't know what minting is and you don't understand what gas is, like, you're going to learn the hard way potentially. And sometimes that's like, for me, that's why I don't like to mint a lot of times, because what happens in most NFT projects is they spike the day of, they shoot up. You just wait like a week and it's going to come back down, to a regular price, and you can buy it when gas is cheaper. If you just sit on a project long enough, maybe the hype wears off and things start coming down and people jump on something else. You can buy something a little bit better. So
for sure. Yep. Rips not dips, and dips not dicks, I guess. Always take profits for sure. But yeah, I just want to reset the room real quick because I don't really know exactly what's going on with our Twitter connection and that sort of thing. So if you are just hopping in on Twitter, we are going to be giving away a Zed run. Make sure you stay tuned till the end of the show. We're going to be getting to that in just a minute. And otherwise, we've already talked about awesome ways you can get some NFT merch today. We just covered the other side. So if you are just hopping in on Twitter, make sure you check out YouTube later for the full video. Okay. Yeah. So should I just kind of close this out here and talk about what's going on with the projects that what I'm doing this week and what I'm launching?
Yeah. Okay. Absolutely.
Great. So I've got 2 projects that I'm going to mint this week. I think the first one I've definitely talked about a little bit before. It's called LO Community. Lo-fi is huge in the NFT space. This is kind of where a lot of my thinking comes from. I'll be honest with you guys. To some degree, I do feel like I'm gambling a bit on this project. But that being said, I'm okay with gambling on mints. And so the mint price is 0.09. You see it's going to be minting May 3rd. Basically what it is it's just a project about lo-fi. They're going to make lo-fi albums. They're going to give you different ways to get involved in the space. here's kind of the roadmap. They're going to introduce the brand, lo-fi album, special announcement, mint. That's where we're going to be at soon. Long story short, as this kind of plays out, what their opportunities are is they're going to continue to create lo-fi albums, playlists, these sorts of things. And by being part of the project, you get maybe a little profit sharing or a chance to get involved. And so it is a gamble. I'm not expecting anything huge. Hofstra has said it to me while we were talking earlier, and it's like the higher your expectations, the larger your disappointment. And so I'm being clear here. I am minting this, but my expectations and my ideally disappointment will be managed on this piece. But it's a big but. A project I do want to talk to you guys about, and I have brought up here before as well, is the Humanians. They're really cool. I've been talking to Hofstra about, tattoos and these sorts of things, and I've been watching a lot of different tattoo artists. Something that I have personally come to love is the kind of like American take on Japanese traditional tattoos. This isn't exactly up that alley, but you do see they have a lot of that, at least what I perceive to be kind of like, Asian cultural influence. They are, like I said, really cool. I believe they're based in Bali. Here's their mint map. So Thursday, May 5th is when they're going to be minting if you're on the pre-sale list. You'll have only 4 hours to mint, which I think is really interesting because traditionally it seems like with whitelist, you're given 24 hours. So that's just something to kind of keep an eye on. What happens there in that 4 hours, and what can we learn from this going forward? And so that's going to be really interesting. It's going to be 0.07 and I can mint 2. So that's exactly what I am going to do. I'm actually hoping to pick some up off the floor as well, just because, again, I really like the art. I like the art. And I didn't have this opportunity beforehand, but now I've had a little bit of success in the space. And so now I'm afforded the opportunity to buy something just because I like the art. And so that's kind of what I'm going to do here. Basically, they're kind of like the meat and bones of their project is it's a project with a purpose. Their kind of goals are oriented around body dysmorphia and that sort of thing. And so they do plan to give a lot back and to pay special attention to kind of like mental health awareness and that sort of opportunity. The other thing is they're integrating with NFT world. Surprise, surprise, seems to be a constant theme on our show. Projects going into NFT worlds, allowing you to do something to gain that world token, which is literally real life money. And so that's something that I really like. The other thing is I can stake the project, again, to gain world token like we're talking about. But what they are going to do is sell whitelists in the future. And so that is really up my alley because I've found, Hofstra's kind of style is finding projects that have been around for a while that he thinks are valuable or underpriced, and he buys them and, makes his money that way. My style is I like to buy things at the mint. And so for a project to allow me to get on a whitelist without grinding, without begging for it, whatever that looks like, to cut the middleman out there, that's really, really appealing to me. And so I'm excited for this. That's something Alien Friends are going to do as well. So I will be minting this. The last thing I want to show about their project is, again, I kind of talked about their orientation around charity. So 20% always is going to be going to charities. The other thing that I like about this is, well, let me call out what I don't like. I'm a data analyst in real life. This is what I do for a living. Any analyst will tell you, what the heck are we doing with a pie chart? Come on now. No pie charts. But I'll digress a little bit. What I do like is the transparency here, right? They've clearly defined exactly what they're going to do with their money and how much they're going to do with what they make. And so I think that's really important to eliminate any sort of ambiguity, especially in a space like this, right? I don't want to be sit around wondering what's going on with the project. Now, as long as they follow their word, I'll have no hesitations or no questions about what happens. If the project goes to the moon, I'll be able to understand exactly what's going on with their proceeds. If it fails, I'll perhaps understand why. And like I said, you never lose if you learn. And so that's something that I'm trying to do in any project that I spend any sort of time with, is learn something from it.
Now, just to play devil's advocate, though, how many projects actually post what they do with the money? I don't know of a project, and I could be wrong, but like an investor newsletter that actually breaks down where they spent and how much.
Yeah, and so exactly, and so hopefully by having something clearly defined like this, we'll be able to have a little bit more insight into that. Or if nothing else, now the community has the opportunity to hold them accountable, right? And I know there's a large ambiguity in terms of like how much does a founder really owe to a project? You know, once it's launched, like are these promises more than paper promises or more than just some sort of grandeur idea? How accountable can we hold them? And I think that's still going to be defined as the space grows. But at least now we have something on paper that says like, hey, you did or did not do this. The rest is kind of out of our control, though. So let me go ahead and close out the show by talking to you guys quickly about a couple projects that I am watching as well. So the first one I'm actually really excited for. It's called, and forgive me if I pronounce this wrong, Ukio Players. Basically, it's going to be 5,555, and I'm kind of referring to them as modern day samurai to my friends. And what they're going to do is a fight to earn game. So really cool. If you get on the whitelist, you get a free mint. So I think that's also really interesting and really appealing. Probably part of the reason that they have such a high followers. But that being said, relatively low risk, and you know any gain from that is a high reward based on the factorial zero. Mint info. So they're going to be doing May 5th, and public sale will be May 7th. Price to be announced. Pre-sale price, I'm assuming, will be free just based on this right here. So yeah, keep an eye out on them. They're really cool. You got to turn the notifications on because they're giving out their mints like incrementally over time. So it is really interesting, but I like that project. The next project that I want to talk about is Glitchies. This one might be one that you get on a little bit early. Look, 9,908 followers at the time that we are doing this broadcast. I just think it's really cool. The art's kind of neat. They haven't released a ton about the project yet. They've only got a couple of tweets out, 7 tweets. So I think this might be an opportunity for you to kind of get in early and hopefully secure one of these glitch list spots while the traction on them is kind of low. But if you do look at their engagement, I mean, that's 6,400 out of almost 10,000. I mean, that's 64% engagement. That's extremely high. So definitely want to see what comes here. And like it says, you're early. So hopefully you can get on this one while it's hot. The next one, I'll spend a little bit of time talking about this. They don't have too much information out yet. It's called We Are Misfits NFT. But what's interesting is they are a Canyon Venture Lab project. So if you're familiar with Canyon, we talked about them on the show previously. This is something that I previously leveraged to help evaluate projects, right? It's a really cool analytics tool. Unfortunately, now you have to kind of buy a subscription and all that sort of thing. Nothing gold can stay. But I may be wrong, but I think it is the first Canyon Venture Lab project, actually. And so I'm really interested to see how this comes out. I know it's cliche. The art is cool. It is cool. I like the art. But I'm just keeping an eye on this project in lieu of the fact that it is part of this Canyon Venture Lab. So they have a great team supporting them, and I think big things can come from that. Last but not least, again, I wanted to bring this up, and so I'm not going to cover too much about this because hopefully when we schedule with Toby, we can get a little more information. Grimbogs by Bedbugs. It's a really cool project. Let me go ahead and fix our screens here. It is a really cool project I've been looking into. And so Toby Lasso is, I believe, the marketing director on this team. So it's really, it's got a strong foundation. Also, if you look at the artist, he's got like 175,000 followers on Instagram or so. So he's established, at least in Web 2. Basically what it is it's kind of like a neat character who plays off of, at least in my interpretation, kind of like Bigfoot or Sasquatch lore. And I don't want to get too much into this project because, again, hopefully we'll be able to highlight this when we do get to reschedule with Toby. But it looks really cool. It says the first sighting of a Grimbog was in 1969 in Big Bear, California. So they're really trying to integrate it and give you kind of that personal feel, give you a way to identify with the project. And so it's definitely something to keep your eye on. Those are my 4 quick rundowns this week. That's all I have. So I think before we go, I don't know if you want to pull up the picture of the Zed Run horse again, Hofstra. But it has been great having you guys on the show. make sure if you like this comment or this content that you like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's the best way to help us. Actually, the best way to help us is if you enjoyed this, go ahead and tell somebody else about it. The second best way would be then go ahead and check out our socials and follow us. Hofstra is showing this Zed Run horse. I don't know if you want to give them a rundown of it. But
yeah, I got big into Zed Run, and if you're like a data analytics type of person, there's some serious data analytics tools. I even have still like up here. I don't know if you can see this one right here.
Yeah.
Called Haku, and then Know Your Horses. Both of those are like staples. Then Zed Run breeding, but like you can go on here and see what they're trading for on Haku. This one's actually a fairly decent horse. It's a Z19, so it's a low number. It's a filly. I actually raced it quite a bit, and it did fairly well. But if you want to get in and try that, I know they did a partnership with NASCAR, and I just saw something about that. And so I think this year you're going to start seeing more of this project. But it's super cool. If you have one of these, you can breed them. You can find someone else that has a horse, put it together, make your own, and have something that's kind of an earlier one. I wouldn't say that this is like, one of the Genesis ones. It's probably like a second or third generation being at Z19. So super cool. This was all the rage for a long time. I was so into this project. Yeah, if you want to win it, just stick around and we'll show you how.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to put up a Twitter post. It's going to have all the information to win that. Basically, like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends about us, and yeah, make sure you check out our YouTube. But otherwise, it's been great having you guys on here today. Thank you again for supporting us. If there's anything that we can do to support you, please do not hesitate to reach out. You can check us out on either of our Twitters, which are posted down below, or the Web3 DJ page. We'll respond to all of that. I think until next time, I'm Sticky Finger Jones. Here's Hofstra.